If you remember, when COVID came along, it set its own rules and it said to businesses, nope, you're going to do it my way. Well, when your purpose is to take care of the people who can't take care of themselves and COVID won't let you do it your way, that's a problem. It requires purpose, it's going to be pressure, and it's next. Lori and Randy Casto of Wedgewood Estates, next. Hello, friends, and welcome to Purpose Under Pressure. Hi, Randy. Hi, Lori. We're going to introduce you in just 1 second. I want to welcome our family and friends that are listening out there to the show. Our show today is brought to you by Sandler Training, the Ruby Group, Sandler Sales Training in Akron, serving business and sales leaders across Ohio and Florida with sales and leadership training. Purpose Under Pressure is about the purpose that we wake up with in the morning, set our feet out on the floor, go to bed with at night, and the storms that rise to try to knock us off our path. And we're going to talk about that today with my friends, Lori and Randy Casto. They're the owners of Wedgewood Estates for 25 years, assisted living in Mansfield, Ohio. Family-owned, family-operated, an amazing story, and we're going to talk about it today. Welcome, my friends, Lori and Randy.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Really glad you're both here. I've known you for a long time. I knew your father before, and the organization that you have there is based on purpose. It's what this show is all about. And so I'm really excited for you to share your story. I'd like to get into it a little bit. Tell me about Wedgewood Estates. There's some things I already know, but our audience doesn't. Tell me what's good. Tell me what you're proud of. Tell me what you're striving for there at the assisted living facility.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm really proud of Wedgewood and the fact that we've been family owned and operated and stayed firm in this area for 25 years. I'm so proud of that. And I'm so proud of the fact that right now, after everything, after the last few years, that we're at 96% occupancy as well as full staffing. And it's not just a full staff, it's a strong staff. And I can't brag enough about the people that make this place tick. We're very proud.
What do you owe that? Because anybody I talk to and everyone I talk to, hiring is an issue. And you guys are pretty full and staying full. I know it's not easy. But tell me, why are you doing so well with that? Does it have to do with your purpose?
I'm going to just tell you, we are faith-based, and I have to just give the credit to the Lord God Almighty. He really will meet our needs, and that's just what that's who I give credit to. I mean, we do what we need to do here. We try to produce a workplace that people like to come to and serve and help our residents. But I just have to give credit to the Lord. I really do.
And, our staff is so good about staying strong and doing, not settling. It's been very, very difficult for our department heads to not settle, to not say, hey, everybody else is without staff, so we're just going to settle in and just deal with. What they do is they keep pressing and keep pressing and keep pressing harder until those right people walk in the door. Instead of saying, oh, we'll just hire you, they are looking for quality people that they know are going to stand the test of time. I think that's a big part of it. And then the fact that we're family owned and operated, and that every morning we see our department heads eyeball to eyeball for a half hour to 45 minutes and just talk about things that need to happen. We have a time of prayer, and we're eyeball to eyeball. And so we're right there with them, and we get to know their lives. And I think that's important too. It's a sowing seed kind of thing.
Yep.
And that doesn't happen too often, does it? I mean, a lot of assisted living and medical facilities anywhere, hospitals, whatever it might be, it's bigger is better, and it's a cost thing. But you guys have been able to keep it local, keep it family owned. And I'm interested, maybe a chance for a quick plug for you guys, because the residents have to appreciate the fact that your staff is long lasting. Is that a big reason why they keep staying there and enjoying their time there with you at Wedgewood Estates?
I think they see the stability. And I think there's comfort and security and stability. And they see that Randy walks in every day, not on weekends.
Not
so
a
much.
board of directors from another state. You get us here.
Yeah, and the staff, they
right.
feel very free to call us anytime, to text. In fact, we're in a lot of texting conversations. What about this staff member? What about this staff member? And we don't do anything across the board. Every decision we make is based on an individual person. We have rules, our employee handbook and all of that, but really we base it on, now what's happening in Lisa's life? Why is this occurring? What's causing her absence? We don't just say, oh, it's just cut and dry. we base everything on the individual.
And I know that in the medical facilities, the medical world, that's not easy because it's a dollars and cents game and occupancy and how full. And I mean, you have to pay the bills and that all comes in, insurance and all those things. And so God bless you for being able to focus on individuals. And I think that gets us right into what this show is about, which is your purpose. Why do you do what you do? Why do you do it the way you do it? What matters to you most that's kept you this alive, family owned and operated, single owned and operated for 25 years?
Oh my.
I don't know.
That's a loaded question, right?
It is. It's just like, we just do what we've been doing. I mean, before Wedgewood, my father and mother, it was a step of faith, and they built the 100-bed nursing home in Mount Gilead, Ohio, Woodside Village in 1979, and then turned around and built a 100-bed nursing facility in Lexington Court. Of course, in 2006, this was so big here that it was just too much, and dealing with Medicaid and Medicare. So in 2006, we sold those, but we kind of kept the same culture, just from those original nursing facilities into Wedgewood, just as people approach, it's just, our residents are people, our staff are people, and we just meet them on a person-to-person basis.
And, sometimes you have to really, like when you drive to work in the morning, you have to be like, now, wait a second, because you get caught up in the day-to-day and the things that, the stresses that come with reality. But then you're like, no, wait, why are we doing this? And the reason is because every single resident needs care, and they need family care. And the most important people that can care for residents are their family members. But it's too hard. It becomes extremely difficult. And we know because we've dealt with moms and dads. And so it becomes extremely difficult. And if we can become an extension of their family and give that same care that their own son or daughter or their own grandkid would, then we've done our best. And that's what we really strive to do.
And it's that gives me hope and faith in humanity, because you don't have to do this. This is hard. This isn't easy. You're taking extra steps to make things right for your residents. You're doing things in a family-owned, operated way. I imagine you don't have to talk about this. I imagine there's been opportunities to sell in the past in the way this world is right now. I can't imagine no one's knocked on your door. But you keep on doing it, I think, the hard way. And I congratulate you for it, and I'm interested in. I know you enough not to brag on your own. But when you put your feet on the floor in the morning and go to work, there's things that knock you off. And let's talk about those. Let's talk about those pressures. Let's talk about those storms that maybe say, hey, it's okay to shortcut this or cut a corner here, and you just won't do it. Let's talk about those storms that come.
Well, the things that come to my mind right now are the high cost of everything. The costs are crazy. I mean, everything. The food cost is incredible. The cost for employment is incredible. These costs are skyrocketing. And so...
yeah, the energy costs have even gone up.
Yeah, and everything has. And so we struggle every day. And we talk about it all the time about the rates and how do we make a quality, how do we keep everything quality for these residents? And all of those things factor into...
instead of pricing them, pricing us ourselves out of existence. I mean, that's the tough thing.
Yeah. Every day.
Yeah. And we're going to, and so what do? Because those are constraints. You have purpose, and you're not going to cut back on your residents' experience. And yet it costs a whole lot more. So how do you manage that storm? How do you manage that pressure?
Well, we get up every day and we do it. And we are disciplined to do it. And we say that it's not going to always be this way. And we're going to write it out, and we're going to wait for things to change, because it's a situation. And it's when you get yourself into the mindset that it's never going to change, then you might as well give up. I mean,
oh, right. You just have to realize it. And like Lori said, it's a cycle. I'm not here to go out of business and lose money, but I can accept a lower measure of profitability right now while, things adjust and we can get, stay with a competitive pricing. And as far as, the cost of materials, I don't know when they're going to, the cost of the food and everything else, you don't know when it's going to stop growing, but you have to know, that it will. And at some point you can catch up the price structure with that. But you just can't let up, and you're not going to make just a nickel and dime now and to save and try to maximize something now to short yourself later on. And then, because this is a smaller community, and word of mouth is a lot for us. I mean, people that have good experiences here, they tell their friends, they tell their neighbors. So many of our residents, I'm coming here because I knew Sally, or I knew Joe, I knew them. They had a wonderful experience here. And now we're getting down to, I had an aunt or uncle, another generation coming in, and a lot of it's word of mouth. And if you ruin that trust now, you're not going to have that later down the road.
But sometimes it's all about writing it out, because I remember bringing you back into the story, Brian, is 2 years ago when we were losing left and right.
Oh, right. When the lockdowns were, no one...
We were losing money like you wouldn't believe. And Randy and I said,
COVID.
No, we're not going to stop. We're going to sow the seeds for the future. We're going to start advertising. We're going to pretend like that this is going to end. We're not going to, it is going to end, but we're going to look into the future, and we're going to say, we're not giving up, even though we're losing right now. We're going to focus on what's going to happen in the future, because we believe that we're going to get over this and we're going to be better than ever. And we are. And I believe that.
Say on the rule, only decision makers can get other people to make decisions. Each and every day, we have a decision to make. Also, when we're with buyers in our sales process, we have a decision to make how we're going to lead that interaction. And if I'm somebody that can make daily commitments and keep those daily commitments, then when I'm with buyers, I expect them to make commitments and keep those commitments to me throughout that sales process. So first and foremost, I have to have a decided heart in order to lead other people to make the decisions that I'm expecting them to make.
And so that worked. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about COVID. Let's talk about those struggles that came about in the medical communities. They were huge. And even a couple years later, we're still feeling the effects. And in assisted living, and if you had mom or dad into a place that wasn't home, like an assisted living facility, it was scary. It was scary times at that point. Let's talk about those pressures and how you were able to weather those based on your purpose.
It was
at one point, it was a nightmare.
It was. It was pressure beyond almost what we could handle. Just being completely honest, it was so hard. It was like, and I said it earlier, but entering a foreign country and not knowing the language or the culture and trying to maneuver every single day. Every day we had so many staffing problems during that time. And so many people jumped ship. There was just so much that people didn't know and understand.
Because they've been scared prior to, and then...
And you talk about wanting to quit. Just being honest, we're just like, can we bail somewhere? Can we go away somewhere? And it's like, no, we
There's
can't.
a nice beach somewhere that was saying, come on,
yes,
hang out with
like,
me for a while.
Then I said, Randy, this is all your fault.
I brought her in.
What do you got me into here? It was hard. It was the most pressure that
Why'd
I've
you
ever
stick it
felt.
out? Why'd you stick it out? Where did you see the seams that said we can do this? Because there were no signs that it was going to let up.
I just knew we would. It was just whether it's faith in God or just maybe the way we're wired. I just knew we were going to get through that tunnel. I just knew it.
He had more confidence than I did. But just being honest, it was extremely difficult. It was a daily, and there was a lot of fear. But that's when we said, nope, we're not going to think about what's happening now. We're going to sow into the future because we know it's going to be better. And that we had to start thinking about the future instead of what we were going through.
Were you more concerned about your residents and their families' experience, or were you more concerned about staying in business? Both are important. You can't take care of people if you don't have a business. You can't have a business if you don't take care of people.
That's correct.
That's exactly right. So Give me some examples of why, were you focused on your resident or were you focused on the business, and how did you overcome those things?
At that point, I think we were probably focused. Well, of course, focused on the business. There were things that were out of our control. During the time that the state locked everything down, then I don't want to put mom and dad in prison where I can't see them, and then you don't have admissions.
That's right.
And that's something that was foreign to us. I mean, we've always been full, and then you go a year with no admissions, and just the normal. Our population is aging, and of course the natural course of things. You're going to end up losing residents just in normal times, and
Sure.
if you can't replace them, that's a very difficult place to be, because no one wants to put mom and dad into a place where they can't come see them. And
Right.
and we tried so many ways and that they could interact, whether it be Windows, Zooms, or whatnot. And if it ever would happen again, I don't know that I would. That was the biggest thing, is watching people not be able. I just, that really gets to me, that people couldn't interact with their loved ones. I could go into that by probably.
It was hurtful. I mean, it made me sick. I mean, like literally sick to my stomach. To tell a person that they couldn't see their family member, it's the hardest thing. It was the hardest thing we ever had to do, was to tell someone that they couldn't see their family member, and those family members would struggle so much. And some of those family members came in every day. They were used to coming in every single day, and it hurt so many people. And those family members were so devastated and so hurt and so frustrated. And then the residents, we had to leave them in their rooms. It was really hard. So it was.
And it went against everything.
When you asked the question, was it hard, like the business versus the family? It was both hard. Both things, I feel, were equally hard.
Yeah, I believe our strength is in our socialization and the socialization programs we have. We get the residents out. We try to keep them socialized. We have events where we bring people in. The residents love that. Everything is socialization, and that it's one of the biggest things that adds to people's lives, is their ability to interact with other human beings. And it totally went against everything that we are all about.
And so it's pressure on your purpose, and it causes you to bear down and get it done. But that's at work. And if you don't mind me digging in a little bit to the Casto family, because one of the things about family business is that they do go home with you. It's impossible to leave them at the doors. And I'm interested, if you don't mind letting me know, Lori, you said physically, literally sick to your stomach. What do you talk about at the dinner table at night when your business is crumbling a little bit and people are having a experience that is not the way you wanted to do it when you open those doors? What happens to the family when that happens? Your family.
It was a lot of stress, and I don't think for about probably 3 or 4 months, I probably didn't get that sick feeling out of my stomach.
It was probably that first, the lockdowns, what started in around March, and it was that first July, August, September, right?
Yeah, and like you just yeah.
And probably that wedding is probably.
Oh yeah, I mean it was just so. I mean every day. I mean I was sick. It didn't let up. When I say I was sick, I was exhausted. We didn't sleep. I didn't sleep. There were times that he was at Wedgewood, because I had to get home to Maria, at my daughter.
Your daughter.
And so because I had to stay late here to try to get staff, and then he had to stay overnight, for a while. I mean, that's how. This is a family business. We had to do what we had to do at the time just to make it through. I mean, I'm talking about just literally making it through. And so it made it hard, because it was just stress, constant stress on both of us. So the one thing that we were able to do is we have this Ranger that we ride around on the property.
Polaris, yeah.
And so we
cool.
couldn't go anywhere except home and work. So that's the one thing that we did do. It did allow us to go around, and it gave us a little bit of relief. And that's, but Maria could see what was going on, and it was stressful for her, and she had to be home from school and home by herself. She's at an age where she can be, but just to be by yourself and kind of isolated in the home and worried about Wedgewood, and it was a lot. So, yeah.
So then the clouds began to part. And I'm interested in when you saw, so faith kept you all the way through, and I won't even ask you about whether your faith got weakened at all, because I know that it did not. It probably even got stronger. And so we'll go right to the idea. Is that right, Randy? Of course.
Yes.
The clouds start to part. A little bit of sunlight comes through. Things start to look like they're going to be okay. And I know we had some rocky times and a reclose and all those kinds of things. But did you dive back in hard? Did you hold on and wait to see? How did it feel to be able to start living to your purpose again and actually start making the impact that you want to make when things started to ease up a little bit?
It was slow because it was very, there was some diving, but really we had to push the staff because they had been closed in so long that we had to put things back. Randy and I had to literally go. There was a room that we had dedicated to all the face masks and
all the PPE,
the
gowns, the gloves.
all the gowns. There was a whole one of our exercise room.
Yeah, it was right up front.
So
we were closed down. It didn't matter
because everybody's mindset had been changed so much during all this that I literally had to go through and say, "Hey, we're going to move it. We're going to get it looking back to normal." We had to push these things forward because even though the world was opening up, nursing homes and assisted livings were not. And so we were trying to live the line of the world still opened up, but we have to still be closed. And we were slowly opening because we had been through a lot. We had been through so much trauma that it was slow.
Yeah,
it was slow.
Them.
But as things but after things did open up, we got to be full within
a month and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as the health order, the state Senate and the state House, overrode the health order. Yeah. I mean, we filled up immediately.
Yeah. It was 6 weeks for what had occurred was pretty amazing that we were filled that quickly.
Yeah. Was that faster than you anticipated?
It was pretty quick, I got to tell you.
Yeah, yeah. It feels good, doesn't it?
And
yeah.
I will, and you had a lot to do with that too. I will tell you that. I appreciate all that you did in helping us in our marketing. It really helped. It really did.
Of course. Yeah. Well, and Lori, you said it. You guys put the pedal down. You got through things, and I want to ask this question. I almost tried to ask it before, but did your faith go stronger during this time as you were waiting?
It's stronger now. At the time, I was so exhausted and so worn that it did exercise my faith a little bit. Yeah. Just being honest.
No,
but now
that's what this is all about.
I can look back and I can say, this is how God brought us through. He did it, and it's all to His glory. It is. That
is actually right. And so what's next? So now we have stronger faith, and we're full again, and everything's good. And what's on the horizon that you're going to need to lean on your purpose again, where you can see that there might be some challenges in the future? Anything come to mind?
I honestly feel like after everything we've been through, that it's a cakewalk. And I know it's so much happened that now I'm excited that, like, for instance, we've had some different events where it's just been families, like our Thanksgiving, like just different buffets and stuff. But for Christmas, we're going to have an open house that we're inviting the community to. And even though things have been opening up for Wedgewood Estates, that is a huge, huge thing that this can occur. It can occur safely, and it can occur within the law. And I'm so excited because we're going to have a Christmas open house. And we're inviting the world, and I'm thrilled. Yeah.
Tremendous.
And I
just
see
like
more of
times.
that. Yeah, and I see more of that, more of the stuff that I love, more of the things that who we are, and I'm so thankful that we have the ability to become again who we were and who we are and what we've always been, and we can exercise that, and it's well within safety, and it's wonderful. It's a wonderful feeling.
The amazing thing, I hope maybe people didn't pick up on this at the beginning. You're a single-owned, family-owned, entrepreneur-based. This is something your father, Randy, built.
Yes.
This is not
Dad
a big chain.
and I walked on this property when it was a soccer field, and we walked across it and said, "This is it."
This is where it's going to be. And the point I'm going to make is that this is not a big change. So all these storms and these pressures and these things that come down, they come down on you. They don't come down on stockholders, or they don't come down on, corporate structure or handbooks or things like they come down on you. The expense comes out of your pocket. When we're family owned, that's the way it works. And you were able to live on purpose through some of the most trying storms possible, and help people too that were going through their pressures of their own and having to show their own purpose. So I thank you for that, and I hope that people will realize how important that is when they're trying to decide where mom and dad need to enjoy a portion of their lives. And so if someone did want to reach out to you for any purpose to talk about anything, including potentially becoming a resident at Wedgewood Estates, how would they do that?
Go ahead.
Well, you can go to wedgwoodseniorliving.com, which is a wonderful website that was created for us. And you can also go to, we're at Wedgewood Estates. We're 600 South Trimble Road in Mansfield, 419-564 7400.
756.
Or 756. I was giving half of my cell phone. No, 419-756.
Yeah, that's because you're family owned.
Yes.
419-756-7400. Got it.
Yes, and that's it. And we're at 600 South Trimble Road in Mansfield.
Tremendous. Thank you very much, both of you. I appreciate over our lives that we've known each other, the support that you've given me just in watching the way you guys do work and the way your dad did things and the way you guys stand up for what's right and don't give in. I knew when we created this podcast called Purpose Under Pressure that you folks would be on it, and I really appreciate taking the time to be on the show.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
It's been enjoyable.
Thank you very much.
Purpose Under Pressure is brought to you by Sandler Sales Training by the Ruby Group. Visit therubygroup.sandler.com. In this pressure-packed world, Sandler Training by the Ruby Group shines a light on your salespeople's purpose and your customers' purpose as well. So check them out at therubygroup.sandler.com. Check out BrianMediaStrategies.com for more Purpose Under Pressure episodes, or if you want to talk to me about anything at all. Thank you to Randy and Lori Casto at Wedgewood Estates, celebrating 25 years in Mansfield, Ohio as assisted living. I'm Brian Leffelock. This is Purpose Under Pressure. We'll turn it up again next week. See you then.